originally when we started this, we were looking at like refugees, and we were saying, okay, where is there a large population of refugees or migrants moving to? But then we kind of realised, again, like I said, this is a bigger issue. So we were kind of thinking, you can't just pick one material like this specific cotton or like a polyurethane laminate, because the thing is, it has to be readily accessible. So we're then trying to realise actually what, as opposed to specific materials, what are the general kind of properties a material needs to have so that anyone anywhere in the world can pick it up and use it. So then we jumped into doing a task analysis. So this is just kind of a research method for us, because we didn't have access to kind of maybe people in period poverty or people kind of refugees or people living displaced out of their home. We kind of tried to break down, like, say, one task and really understand what it is a person's trying to achieve in that, and where there might be pain points or where they might kind of have issues, or in this case where there might be kind of contamination. So what we did was we focused on women trying to enter a bathroom, change a sanitary pad and come away. And so we broke the task down into kind of small actions, what you'd have to handle, what you'd be focusing on, and what kind of the risks are when you're doing that. We took it from a perspective of a refugee who would be in, say, a refugee settlement trying to get to use a bathroom there. And so one of the things we knew was a big issue was a risk of contamination, illness, but also sexual gender-based violence. So in refugee settlements and sometimes just in public bathrooms, there is a higher risk of violence or just being subjected to kind of attacks or advances that you not necessarily want. So we realised as well, you don't want someone having to go in, be very obvious with kind of sanitary products, and then having to spend a long time in there. People, refugees specifically, want to be in and out as quickly as they can. There's also a fear of being heard and a fear of being seen. Like, I think something that we could relate to in doing this project was like, it's a taboo topic in Ireland. Like, I don't want to take a tampon out and wave it around the office and walk into the toilet, so why would someone in any other circumstance want to do that? And so it's just kind of like, these are just all things that, considerations we wanted to take into account as we were like designing for these things, because it's, yes, you can design something in isolation, that's really, really amazing, but then when it comes to, like, hits the context that it's going to be used in, you have to consider all the other impacts that it's going to have. So we were really fortunate then, once we got a few prototypes up and running, to actually meet different women's groups. So we were lucky to meet some women out of Mosney, the Direct Provision Centre, and we were also lucky to meet with this lovely group of women who were part of Akidwa, who are a young migrants women's support group. And I think this was really, really valuable for us, because up until this point we were like designing based on assumptions, and we definitely got some really valuable insights from this. It helped us frame challenges, I guess, which like constraints that we needed to address with this. One of the biggest ones being that these women just it was an open discussion. They just were very helpful in telling us there are certain things based on my beliefs and my culture and like the people I live with that kind of dictate what I can and can't do during my period. And so like that stuff, no matter how much I tell you, oh, well, that's like, you know, don't worry about that. Like, they will worry about that, and it's something we have to take into consideration. So one of which was like touching blood. For a lot of people's cultural beliefs, you can't actually put your hands on any blood. So they're saying, you know, you have to be careful that you can contain it. And as well, it's a big thing for not only me seeing blood, but other people seeing blood. So having to be able to package something so that it's kind of discreet and concealed was a really big priority for them. And also what was really interesting, because we were kind of considering at this stage, like, oh, moon cups or diva cups, those have become very popular as a sustainable alternative here in like Ireland and England and kind of across Europe. And they were saying to us, actually, we don't use any internal products. Like, it wouldn't be something they'd be comfortable using. So then that was kind of a big indicator for us. If this is going to be it's not going to be everyone's ideal solution, but it's going to be a solution that works for everyone, that we couldn't actually do things like internal products like moon cups or tampons, because it's already, you're starting to cut out the number of people who feel comfortable using that. And then what was really helpful as well was we kind of realised that women may have received little to no education about menstruation. So any practices they have around their period is probably what maybe someone told them or what they've kind of picked up themselves. And so that was something we thought as well. Like, you can't just hand this to somebody and say, here, great, we've given you a solution, because, you know, they don't actually, it's not what they're used to, it's not what they're comfortable with. Why should they do this? And the last one as well was creating an environment where women can feel safe to learn about and discuss menstruation. So what was really interesting for us is, like, I think this is the point of the project where we kind of learned to just get out of our own way, because a big thing with us was like, oh, we don't want to ask people about their periods. They're not going to tell us. That's so embarrassing. Oh my God, we shouldn't talk about it. And so like when we sat down with these women, we were really like, oh no, you don't have to say anything, da da da. But what was so interesting was like this space with just us, and we just said like, oh, we just want to know what you think. Like straight in, open conversation, really nice. It was kind of like almost giving permission to ourselves, like to us and to them, to say like, yes, we can talk about this. And yeah, it was really lovely because people just opened right up, and it was like a sharing of experience and stuff. And so this really was the point when the project took like kind of a 180, because originally we were just looking at the sanitary pad itself, and then they kind of said to us, oh, this is great and all, but how do I wash it? Like I don't want to go out into, say, like a settlement or an open community or public toilet and be rinsing out a pad that I've just used. So this is kind of where we took the step back and said, yeah, this can't just be one product. This needs to be like a holistic solution. And like there's other aspects of menstruation that we want to support women in, partially being education and also just feeling like you can talk about it.